Libra. This is your January 2021 message from Spirit slash horoscope. Wow. Okay. Money and love are on your mind. Love it. All right. So this message is love. There's a situation that you're not ready to walk away from. It's like it hasn't hit the pinnacle of success that you know it could be. But it kind of looks like the other person is gaining clarity on what it is they want. They've gone through some transformation. They're a different person than when they first met you. You had a clearer image of what you wanted in a relationship than what they wanted. But they're starting to come to terms with it. Be a little patient with them because one, you're not ready to walk away. And two, you want a second chance. And I don't even know if it'd be like a second chance, but you actually do want a chance. And it's almost as if, as much as the other person wasn't fully clear on what they wanted out of a relationship, and they've come a long way though. They're still getting a little bit of clarity on the type of relationship they want. You also weren't ready to put relationship into a work. So that's what made you guys a perfect vibrational match for each other. You weren't ready to put effort into a relationship. They didn't have a clear idea of the type of relationship they wanted. You sense potential. You're not understanding why you don't feel the normal gusto get up to go make it work with the person. And it's essentially what I've already said. You have to be okay that they're still at a place of refining the type of relationship they want, and you're kind of like awakening out of a slumber and are now just willing to start putting energy in. It's kind of like, Libras, when you first start training for a race and you've been inactive, you don't go run the 26 miles the first day, right? You get out there and you walk 3 miles. After a couple weeks of that, then you run the 3 miles. After a couple weeks of that, you increase it to 5 miles, right? And so right now you're kind of judging it a little bit. You're putting a little pressure on the relationship, whether it's likely love. If it's not love, you're putting pressure on the friendship, on the work relationship. You're judging yourself of, but I don't feel as motivated as I should be to complete a marathon. I'm struggling here at like 5 miles. Why don't I feel how I should feel for the end goal? But like, chill, bro, you're in training, okay? You just started to realize that love is an area that you want to nurture and grow right now, that you do want to let friends in and stuff. And don't worry about whatever fight y'all were in. That's on like the remnants. So when you reach out to them, it's likely going to have to be you to reach out to them, Libra. They're definitely feeling like a little tired, not defeated, but they're feeling a little kind of like worn out for the effort they've had to put in. Yeah, it's like they were willing to put in effort and energy to like hanging out and like getting to know you and spending time together. They just didn't have the clear vision of what they wanted in the young goal, whereas you beforehand weren't willing to put like any effort in because you got the 3 of Pentacles upright. If it were like the 7, 8, 9, 10 of Pentacles, I'd say you're putting effort in. No, you were just like sitting back, chilling, letting them do it all. So they're a little tired from like putting in the energy and effort to get it going. Just don't worry about the fight. That's on the tail end of it. So when you reach back out, it's going to be more of I would call it a clarity call. Like, hey, let's get, I don't even think they're going to acknowledge the fight. Like, yeah, we both said some things. I think we've calmed down from that, though. But let's get clear. Let's just have a conversation about what do you think you want. They're going to have to be willing to see you in a new light, right? Because if you weren't putting any effort in and now you're putting effort in, they're going to be a little like, wait. You know, is this a change in you or is this just a little whim, right? So they're going to have to be willing to trust a little bit that you're actually you're in And I'm not saying in as in like marriage or in as in willing to sign the contract to work there, but that you're in, that you actually want it, you are going to have to be a little okay that it's not one conversation. It's not, okay, what type of relationship do you want? What type of work environment do you want? How much money do you want to make? You're going to have to be okay that it's like, view it as like a brainstorming session, view it as a vision board session, view it as a, well, hey, yeah, I guess I did want to gain, like, I wanted to hear you a little bit more. And if they're like, well, I think I want something like this, listen, be patient. Like, okay, well, tell me a little bit more. Be willing to brainstorm with them. Like, hey, that sounds good to me. That would feel good to me. Like, hey, can I, okay, you want something like that? Well, I actually want a little bit more like this. Like, if you start to see that they're, maybe I want something like this, you go, okay, I know I want this though. And then maybe there's something they're willing to adapt on, right? So, okay, so, and one thing that I can give you guys is you can type this into Google if you want to learn more about it. There's people who process externally, they run their little mouth, and there's people who process internally, okay? There's pros and cons to both. The internal processors, they tend to be like really good listeners and quiet, so when you speak to them, they'll just, tell me more, and they'll listen, and then they'll go away for a while, right? Meanwhile, you're sitting there like, what are they thinking? What are they doing? It's been 4 days. Are they even thinking about what I've talked about? You haven't heard from them at all. And then they come back with a fully formed idea, right? But there's people who are like external processors who, well, maybe I want to get married. Well, maybe I want to be single. Well, maybe I want polyamory. They process out loud because when they speak it, what happens is then they get a feeling in their body, because there's people who are more logical focused and there's people who are more feeling intuitive focused, right brain, left brain. So external processors, they like to either speak it out loud themselves or have someone else speak it out loud so that they can feel if they like it or not. That's what I mean. You're going to have to be patient with them, Libra, because they might have to go, oh, okay, let me fill into that a little bit. And it might be a combo. I know I'm a combo. I externally process and I internally process. So I do both. It's so, and you can Google that if you want more info. Just do like external processors, internal processors, and you can get more info if you want that. I gave you enough though. You shouldn't need to do that. What you do need to know is that neither one of you are really willing to walk away right now. Neither one of you even want to walk away right now. It just kind of looks like both of you are at a place of where you're not quite seeing that success is 100% possible. But it's more about recognizing, Libra, that no one was guiding the ship. No one was directing it. Both people kind of came in with whimsical energy. I already explained the difference between the two of you. Ooh, so Libra, for you though, you got the Death Tarot card upright. You are going to have to go through some personal transformation. For one, for this relationship to work, but not only the specific relationship option you have in front of you right now, for any relationship option to work. It's almost as if, and this isn't even talking about the current person, something that happened previously that was a really big deal for you because it's a major arcana card. It made you get a little bit of a belief system of, well, I'll never be happy again. That can come up for someone who like went through a divorce and they're now like, oh, now I'm like, they were the love of my life and I'll never find a love of my life again. That combo can come up for something like that. Or that combo can come up if you were passed up for promotion at work and it was someone who's young and you're like, great, they're going to stay in that position forever. That position's never going to open up here. So it's kind of like that calm defeat where you're like, all right, I guess I'll just be the vice president forever, not the president. That position will never open up. No. Don't give up. Libra, don't give up. So you're coming out of that knowing that you can find a newfound sense of happiness. But you have to be willing to let go of that belief system, and you have to be willing to let go of, you have like a whimsical nature and a whimsical energy that you have to let go of. Because like when you get like defeated in life of, okay, I'll never get this, or I got divorced, I got passed for the promotion, I'll never get my full happiness, then it can just be like I don't say free floating life experience, but it can be like a, well, now what? Well, now what? Well, now what? Right? And if you do a, well, now what? Then you're going to approach every situation. It will have a sense of fun. It will have a sense of exhilaration for you. But it'll be like okay, let's see what I can get out of this situation. Let's see what I can get out of this job. Let's see how they can influence me. Let's see what I can learn. Maybe they'll learn something from me too. It puts you in that instead of a, well, maybe this could work. Maybe this could work. Maybe this could be something long term. Maybe this could be a win-win for the rest of my life. It's being open to that possibility, Libra. Okay, and there's a little bit of you, because clarifying the moon reverse, you got the Four of Pentacles upright. So there's a little bit of, I want to say guardedness around money. It's like a staunch assertion that I will not lose. I will not lose. So when you start a new friendship, a new romantic relationship, a new work situation like that, going into it with, I'm not going to lose, it does put a demand and expectation on the other person to always be providing value. And guys, that's just that's unfair to you, and that's unfair to the other person. It's obvious why it's unfair to the other person. They're always having to prove, right? Yeah, I remember I dated a guy for a while. Maybe we're still dating. This is his sign, so I'm not going to give too many details. But I remember every time I'd go visit him, he always needed me to bring something to him, whether it was like a pack of cigarettes or a loaf of bread or a bag of ice. It's every time I came to visit him, I always had to bring something. And for him, it was okay, she likes me. Well, one, that got annoying, after time. It's like, wait, every single time I come up, I have to spend $3 or $5 your way, plus the gas, plus my time to get there, just so that, like, or same thing from, like, work. If you're doing that at work, right, you're walking into your boss's office with, okay, what life lesson are you going to give me today? How are you contributing to my career growth? And then they're always having to, like, teach you a new skill, a new knowledge, a new ability, instead of just recognizing that you get some life lessons, and then you got to integrate it. You get some life lessons, and then you got to integrate it. Because you don't even want to put that pressure on a boss, who they always have to be teaching you. They always have to be giving you career growth. That's not fair to them, because sometimes they have a boss above them that they need your help because they hired you. They need your help to put together a presentation for the bigger boss, and they don't have time to teach you. It's just hey, here's the Excel sheet, go fill it out. And then maybe, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, when the project's over, it could be, hey, remember that sheet you had me fill out? Can you help teach me the ideology behind that, right? So it's recognizing that sometimes it's about gathering information, sometimes it's about doing, sometimes it's about mutual learning. You guys are getting the point, Libra. I do feel a little weird that I gave the example of my life, and this is that person's zodiac sign. What's up if you're watching this? I will use a different example next time. Yeah, it's not complete with the person, whether it's romantic, a friendship, or like work. It's not complete, so it's not over. Don't even let that be a concern on your mind. It's not over. Yeah, and it's not over. It's not over, okay, on this end of the stick, but on this end of the stick, you're also like, but why don't I feel motivated to put more in? I should be willing to put more in. If I really liked this person, if I really wanted this job, I should be feeling more intrinsic, natural, inspired motivation to do more. Again, I already gave you the example earlier, but it's like, you can't judge a new relationship as if it's like a 10-year one, right? Because someone who you're married to, have children with, you're going to be willing to do far more for them. Like, right, you got a wifey, married, you've been together for a long time, you're building a future together, she's like breastfeeding a baby or taking care of the kids. Hey, hon, I need XYZ from the store. yeah, I'll run to the store for you, right? But like a relationship that's a month in and say the person's single, no kids, you guys haven't even talked about planning a future together, like, hey, I need toilet paper. You're gonna be like, okay, go get it yourself. What the fuck, you know? And instead of judging that one as, but why don't I feel as motivated for this person as I did, or as I would, it's just recognizing that you're further in, that you're not as far along in this relationship, but you're judging your motivation as if it should be. I hope that made sense. If not, guys, give me a comment below. Now let's talk about why I didn't want to put work into the situation. Well, you weren't having... This is so funny. This is a really funny read, guys. You were definitely willing to take whatever life threw your way, but there was also, in terms of this specific person situation, you weren't, if it's a love read, you weren't having sex. The devil card reversed. You were not having sex or getting nookie. And you got to have a little compassion for the other person, why they may not have been putting out. And instead of... It's almost as if instead of being willing to put the effort in to come to terms or to come to a clear agreement with the other person, you were more at a, well, let's see what happens. And the other person was holding back a bit. And again, the other person also didn't have a clear vision of what they wanted for the future, which has kind of got you guys in this little impasse period, in a relationship. Libra, you're going to have to be the one to put in, it's not even a lot of effort. It's just you're going to have to be the one to kind of initiate a little bit of the clarity conversation. And it's recognizing that, like, sex is important, and if this is a work read, the dollar amount the person's paying you, right? If someone's paying you $100,000 a year versus $30,000 a year, you might be more inclined to work that overtime with yeah, I'll come in on Saturday. At $100,000, $30,000, you're gonna be like, the fuck? You don't pay me enough and you want me to give up my weekend with my family? No, right? The money amount, sex, matters. Okay, there's a couple more messages in here for you. Oh, yeah. Okay, so in terms of advice on what you should do, you got the Chariot card upright, which means whatever the situation is, it's worth putting energy and effort in, and you are going to have to be the one to kind of guide it, right? The other person is going to match and put in as well, but you're going to have to be the one kind of steering it, right? It's knowing that, I don't say success, but the final outcome isn't going to come right away from one conversation. Okay, so it has to be something with like, okay, well, we made great progress. That gave you time to think. So yeah, like, think about that and let me know when you've thought about it more. And then be willing to pick the conversation up again, right? Knowing that in between that time, you guys can still just hang out and chill. But there's going to be nothing wrong with like, hey, did you get time to think about that? And not every day, every hour, every day, but, you know, give it like 3, 4, 5 days a week. I wouldn't let it go longer than a week, because if they haven't thought about it at all in a week, that's a sign. Unless, of course, they had to focus on work for whatever reason, for a valid reason, right? If oh, babe, I haven't had much time to think about that, but I want to, that's a promising sign, okay? No matter what, though, what you're going to get out of this, what you're going to learn out of this, whether it works with this person, end all be all or not, is you're going to drop the defensiveness in relationships. You're going to drop the need to defend why you want what you want. And you're going to recognize that it's just more about clarity and partnering with someone who wants what you want. So you're going to let go of that burden of wanting the type of relationship that you want. You're going to let go of that You're going to let go of the fear of expressing what you really want will end it. You don't need to deny who you are to make the relationship work. It's letting things gestate. Well, this is kind of what I want. Oh, well, this is what I like about it. Here's what I don't. Oh, well, here's what I like about what you said, and here's what I don't. Here's what I like about what you said, and here's what I don't. A little back and forth, negotiation, conversation. It's recognizing that it's that way instead of, that's what needs to happen, Libra. That's all I can tell you. Any last messages for Libra? Yeah, when you're willing to view relationships that way, you won't feel so split in your desires and your wants, and you'll be able to kind of be at peace with what you want, now allowing someone who wants that in too to come in, right? Because I can even tell you, as someone who's employed people and paid people, there's been some people where I'm like, I'm not paying you more than $10 an hour. But there's been other people, when I've been negotiating, they've been like, I want 30 an hour. I went, I'll pay you 30 an hour, no problem, but I want someone who's going to also do X, Y, Z. I want someone who's more motivated. I want someone who's even thinking about things that I didn't tell them to think about. I'll pay you more if you would do that, right? Because sometimes, and you guys can relate to that, sometimes you're like, I just want smooth, easy cash. Fine, go drive Uber, right? Or go get a job who just needs a receptionist. But there's a difference between a receptionist who will show up on time and sit there and answer the door versus a receptionist who will show up, sit there on time and go, oh, I can unload the mail. I can open the mail. Oh, I can do this. Like a proactive person versus a passive person, right? So there's a difference. All right, Libra, I hope that helped. Give me a comment below. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe. Let me know how this impacted you, didn't impact you, any questions you have. And if you would like help in becoming who you really are, I have a brand new course opening up that I'm super pumped. You're going to learn how to tap into your emotions, awakening to all of them, know how you feel, learn how to share that with others in a productive way. You're going to open up to the complexity and the intricacies of life so that you enjoy life at a more intimate, deep, profound way. If you're interested in learning more about that course, send me an email at kelly@kellylunt.com. Love you guys. Bye.